Hi guys, so I just thought I'd bring you up to date before we start this video. I just thought we'd bring you up to date with the situation where we are as far as our Portugal life is concerned. So we had a few questions about our setup generally. What have we got? What are we doing? How are we living, etc. I think we've covered most of it in previous videos, but some of the previous videos are quite old, so I understand that maybe not everybody's had a look at those. So I'll just do a very quick 1 minute overview of where we are at the moment. So first and foremost, probably the most important thing is that this is all a project for us, which is going to take quite a long time to do, probably over the next year or even 2 years, depending on how often we can come back to Portugal, because we're not permanent in Portugal. Not at the moment, anyway. We still have ties with the UK, so we're still spending time in the UK. So that brings us on possibly to the first point about our accommodation whilst we are here in Portugal. So people also noticed on one of the previous videos that we do have 2 vans. So absolutely right, we have the blue van, this one here, and this blue van is it's our sleeping accommodation, but it's generally our driving to Portugal and back living accommodation. It's a nice little setup. Again, we have done a little bit of a van tour on a previous video. We've also got the white van, which is this one over here. The white van, we call it the minibus. It used to be a minibus. It's a bigger van, and it's a more comfortable setup in that it's got a bigger bed, higher roof. It's got like a proper double bed in there. Again, we have done a video about it, very quick one earlier, if you're interested. But it's a more comfortable living space. So ideally, the blue van gets us here as a camper, and the white van on our land gets us here, is here for when we are here, to be a little bit more comfortable whilst living on the land. Okay, talking about the land, so our priorities as far as what we're doing in Portugal at the moment, our land is our first priority for many reasons, which I won't go into on this short little video, but our land is our priority. We're going to be planting trees, which you've either seen or going to see in videos. And we're making the land fertile for us to use for our own food. We need to get that started because that's going to take years in itself to build up and make the land a good growing soil. Okay, so once our land is then sorted, or at least semi-prepared, we'll start moving into the house. We have 2 projects as far as the house is concerned. So as you can see, we've got quite a lot of projects going on. What we'll do is we'll take you down to the house, and we'll show you the projects down there. Again, I'm not going to do a house tour because we've already got that earlier and it isn't any different to what it was, but a little bit more of a rundown of what we're thinking of doing. So we'll take you down there just now. Hi guys, so here we are back at the house again, as you can see just behind me here. So I've had to switch cameras over because I'm on my phone at the moment. I don't know if it's any different at all, but our batteries are all running out on our cameras. So yeah, getting back to where we were. So this is our house, or going to be our house in Portugal when we become permanent in Portugal. We're imagining the way things are at the moment, the situation, current situation, plus also our ties in the UK, that we're looking at maybe a 1.5 year, 2 year turnaround before this one's probably ready. That's probably not such a long time when you put it in perspective. So this will be our ongoing but potentially our last project that we've talked about. From the house perspective as well, across the road, sort of drag Max along. Okay, so this is our little shed, our little house. So we've been having a rethink about this one as part of the project. and we're thinking that this might be very useful for us as a bathroom. Were we thinking kitchen as well, or just bathroom?
Bathroom.
Just bathroom. Yeah. Okay. So again, that will be part of our ongoing project, but this is probably going to be something that we'll do before the house. The reason for that is because at the moment, as I explained earlier, we're living on the land in the van, which we do have bathroom facilities for, but this would be very handy to have like a proper bathroom that we can use even whilst living on the land and renovating the house. So as far as the properties are concerned, this will probably be our next project, and then after that, the house. Okay, so I hope that clarifies everything and puts everything clear, maybe in a timeline as well. I do hope so. So okay, so hopefully that puts it in a little bit of perspective for you. So let's get on with the video.
Soil here has been ploughed for years around the olive trees, so it's really compacted. But I love getting stuck in, even though it's hard work. And the pickaxe and the other tools that we bought off eBay before we came out have been really worth their small investment. And it's nice to think that history is being carried on elsewhere. I'm picking out loads and loads of stones, because really what I'm just trying to do is break the top layer of the soil up, trying to loosen it, and all the stones that we remove we're using to make edging around the beds. There's loads of granite in here and quartz. It is real hard work, but I love getting stuck in. As you can see, you don't have to get that far down, and the soil is quite moist. I know it's November now, but still. It gives me hope for what we're going to grow in the future. Over time, we're going to try and add lots of things that will improve the soil. Compost, manure, perhaps straw, anything that's going to enrich the nutrition and open up the texture of it. You start off picking out just the big rocks and the stones, and then anybody else find that you get your eye in and you end up picking up all the smaller ones and the smaller ones, and it just takes for hours. It's quite meditative. I've gardened for many years in the UK, and usually you have to pick your moments, make the most of a sunny day. But gardening in Portugal, I'm hoping, is going to be very, very pleasurable. It's going to have its different challenges, I know, but when you can still get out in November and December and the sun's still out, it's really good for the soul. As you can see, there is moisture in the soil. It's quite loose and it's very free draining. But we know we're going to have to add some nutrition into it. So what we've bought first is some compost that's got some well-rotted chicken manure in. So here we're just spreading it out and mixing it in and then it's got all of the winter for the rain to come down and send that nutrition further into the soil and mix it in and let it rot down even more. I know a couple of people were concerned that we thought we'd put sort of manure onto the roots of the trees and things we planted, but it is just mixed into compost and it's very well rotted, so it shouldn't be burning any it shouldn't be burning the roots. Max thought it was great. He thought we'd just put out loads of snacks for him. Couldn't quite understand why he kept getting told off for nibbling at it. So with the state of the soil and the fact that it's been compacted for so many years, there's no way we're going to sort of grow underground veg in here. You're not going to get any nice long straight carrots or any carrots at all, parsnips, potatoes, anything like that. So what we'll probably concentrate on for the first year or two is still continuously improving the soil and growing things that just sit above ground. So I'm thinking of things that will sort of give lots of ground cover to prevent weeds and grow up vertically. So things like beans, squash, we love those, and broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. But if anybody's got any other ideas, especially if you're already gardening in Portugal, then I would love to know the other things that you grow. We also love loads of salad veg, so kale, spinach, anything like that. So give me ideas in the comments, because we do love to read all the comments and we try between us to reply to almost all of them, but sometimes it's been impossible because everybody's been really positive, so thank you very much for that. Our friends have just walked by on the road that borders our property, so we're not nipping off for a break, we're just going off to say hello. Back in a moment. Well, I've eventually got my gooseberries in. 3 of them. They'll take a good few years to grow, but I've spaced them quite far apart. And I've put them here so they're in a semi-sun, semi-shade, different times of the day, because right here on the border, I'm convinced this is a gooseberry. I think it got a bit damaged when the electricity company came through and did some clearing, because it is pretty much right under their wires. But it looks as though this one had been there for quite some time, and with all gooseberries, it's shooting out from the bottom, so that looks as though that'll be a success. And then that'll be 4 all planted. It took way longer than I thought, because I wanted to dig out what was already here, so you can see the plot's quite big in comparison to the 3 little holes that I needed for the gooseberries. Because I didn't want them to have much competition until they get really established, and then they'll block out things like weeds coming up from under from any seeds that are in there already. Oh, except there's some that I've missed. There we go. So that's it. Gooseberries in. I also wanted to address a few concerns and some helpful info that a couple of viewers left on previous videos about when we planted the trees, and that we will need other trees, especially around the apple tree, to help with pollination. So yeah, we'll take that on board, and we're hoping that this time next year we'll be able to plant some more apple trees. Obviously we know they're going to take years to establish and fruit, so we're hoping that next year we'll be able to get a few more in and fill out the orchard, as Darren's starting to call it. Thanks very much for watching, and please subscribe if you've enjoyed. There's lots more to come. Bye.